So here, Sharp Whitebeard here again to kind of follow up on the boarding tactics and weapon used by the pirates when they boarded a ship to take a prize. So one of the next weapons they like to use, and these are the personal weapons that the guys, the pirates on the ship would be carrying with them. They're hand-to-hand weapons getting ready to go ahead and board the ship. What they do is they come alongside the ship, you have ropes with grappling hooks and they throw them across and hook on the ship, pull them close. They have pirates ready to swing across on ropes from the rigging and jumping across, overwhelming the adversary and taking the ship. So one of the things they love to have, one of the weapons of choice, they said it was like Blackbeard, one of his favorite weapons, was the infamous blunderbuss. And this was a short weapon used like a shotgun. It was a shotgun. It was one of your first shotguns they used, loaded with shot through the barrel. The barrel was kind of flared to throw out a big pattern at close range. Also to help when you loaded it, you poured everything down it and rammed it closed. It is a flintlock that you prime the pan, have the powder, and use this guy at close range and shoot them. They said they used to pack them so full of powder that you didn't want to shoot these guys off your shoulder. You could dislocate your shoulder. So you'd want to shoot it off your hip. So they'd take these blunderbuss and they'd shoot them at the enemy. I'm kind of imagining you'd shoot your guns off and then you board the ship, getting ready to fight them hand to hand with your edge weapons. So your blunderbuss is, in my opinion, a pretty cool weapon. Looks cool and everything else, and I'm sure it's very effective, which history says it was. So that's what they used. And then, of course, most of your pirates were carrying, hopefully, they're carrying a brace of pistols, which are two pistols like this. These are sea service pistols. They're both flintlocks. They're about 62 caliber. And what you could load these guys with was usually buck and ball. They're smooth bore. They didn't have any sights. And deadly within about 10, 15 feet. Other than that, you don't know what you're going to hit. And like I said in another video, once you shot them off, you could flip them around and use them as a weapon, as a bludgeon. I think if it was me, these handguns, they have hooks on the side right here, which is historically accurate. And you stick them back on your belt. So I think after I shot them, I stick them back on my belt because I don't want to lose them. You could always reload them later, of course. And you load it with buck and ball, so you can load buckshot and then a ball, projectile in the body to keep it down, and then you shoot it so it shoot the ball out, the bullet, and then it would throw a pattern out of buckshot. So pretty deadly, pretty effective weapons. So they'd have the blunderbuss when they get ready to board, and they'd have the pistols, brace of pistols to them, a lot of them if you had them, and then you jump across and board the ship. One of the other weapons which they used a lot was the boarding axe, which is like this, kind of looks like a miniature fireman's axe with a point on the back and the blade. They could use these to board across and take out the rigging or chop things or split open doors or something if they try to take refuge in the cabin of the ships. And this is kind of like a tomahawk. I kind of decorated with brass beads on it. But they use, the pirates use them, the Native Americans use them. Everyone used these kind of weapons, these boarding axes, at any one time or another. So this was what they used, one of the weapons they used. Also, your typical, stereotypical weapon that people consider about pirates is the cutlass. And this is the cutlass. It's a short, stocky weapon used for slashing and used for stabbing, thrusting. It had a brass guard around your hand so you could protect your hand in a fight. There was some guy on the YouTube and he was saying that weapons like this came out around the Napoleonic era, which was basically 100 years later, and that the actual original pirates didn't have this elaborate of hand guards when they used these. But I don't know, that's what people think of when you think of pirates, so who knows, how historically accurate it was or not. But they look like pirate weapons that they would use, and they use cutlasses. Another weapon that they used also is, you wanted the cutlass because it was cramped on deck, you didn't have a lot of room to move around. But another weapon, this is a light sword, which is basically a cross between a cutlass and a rapier. It's a longer weapon. and fairly light, as it's called a light sword, as not like on Star Wars, a light sword, which was made of light. This is as opposed to heavy. And they use these a lot. They had a basket hilt to protect your hand. And in your left hand, if you're right-handed, you use your primary weapon. And you could use this as like a mean gouge, which had a big guard, cross guard to parry your opponent's blade. It had a big cross guard, or a big front guard to protect your hand, and you'd use these in conjunction with each other. Of course, using these weapons, if you had some fancy footwork and you're pretty skilled, you could use it, but on a ship you may not have a lot of room to maneuver and move around like that, so you might want, that's why they use the cutlass, that's why they prefer to use them at close quarters. Another deviation was the Scottish dirk with the basket hilt. This guy kind of looks good. It's a Scottish dirk they used as a secondary weapon. It has a basket hilt can guard. It looks really flashy and nice to have with you. And there's another weapon they use. They use whatever they could get their hands on and whatever they preferred, and the nicer weapons they had. But so that's pretty much when they jumped over across to attack the ship. That's what they were using, going into hand-to-hand. A series of weapons like these. Thank you.